So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Field Wait, the D20 campaign we are playing here on ToadNet. In the last session, we had revealed to us that Amanda may or may not be a spy from the Saltec Corporation, referred to as Sandra Karen. We also found out that when Toad finds out someone he likes is a spy, he goes immediately round to see her and is followed by his two sort of Ren and Stimpy-esque characters who burst into the apartment to scare her off and cause such a ruckus the police turn up. They get arrested, they get imprisoned, they talk nonsense, and then a rather nice lawyer from the Balar called Brillan turns up to get them out. Basically, they have been told by the Balar that although they thought they had several months to gather information about what was going on at the plant, in fact, they only have a much shorter amount of time because things have progressed much more rapidly than they expected them to. And they have been told that the Balar are arming themselves for war. Basically, Balar are getting ready for a slums battle between the Balar and the Drazni, because the Drazni are getting so much funding from Obzalife that the Balar think the Drazni are going to make a play for taking over the slum city, taking over the Challenger city. So, they got released from prison. Snarbly Wolf and Bomber went home, and Snarbly Wolf has been having an English lesson. And Nets went back to the Amnesia Club and professed his love for Amanda to the person that was a doorman that she referred to as Uncle. It was revealed out of character that Uncle is in fact her handler from Saltec, and he has no idea how to deal with Nets. So he's sent Nets on the way home and said that he'll get in contact with Amanda if he can.
And Nets has drank, I guess. Too many drinks with his single kidney.
Apparently Toad has drunk way too much. Apparently Toad has drank way too much as well.
I've drinking too much. Oh, words don't like me. And yet I get to deal with the general public every day and talk to them. Woohoo!
Yay!
Imagine how my job goes. It's awesome.
With these pressures pressed upon Snarbly Wolf, Bomber, and Nets, the three of them find themselves back at the apartment. The night has passed, the morning has come, the sun is out, the atmosphere of the planet is shining with a nice purpley blue color, and everyone is happy and cheery apart from Nets, who has a thumping headache. So, what shall we do?
So Snarbly Wolf says, nice weather we're having.
And Nets grumbles, oh, shut up, stop yelling.
Shut up, stop
I'm gonna go into the kitchen and start banging the cupboards open and closed while I make myself a coffee. I'm just being a dick.
Oh, you guys.
But so how long? I'm gonna check the clock. How long till work?
This is your
Day off.
day off. This is your second day off
Yes.
out of 2. Your first day off was spent in the police station. This is your second day off out of 2.
Excuse me, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna see what plan is with the rest of them. How long it takes them to get their ass up.
Okay.
See what Nuts is up to today. Aside from sleeping off a hangover.
Yeah, I'm attempting to sleep. I'll just leave it at that for now.
I'm not letting that happen.
You'd think the guy that's constantly fueled on cigarettes, booze, and space cocaine would understand a hangover, but no, he's just like, let's be a huge dick about this.
Yes, because I know that if I'm gonna drink so much I get a hangover, it's my own fault, and I have to deal with the consequences of it.
Okay, children, separate. Okay, so as far as like your characters have a few options going forward. You can spend your day off doing pretty much whatever you like. You can set up plans, you can start things up. It also is a possibility that because this is most people's day off, the manufacturer is operating with quite a small staff. So you could head round to the manufactory, maybe try and worm your way in and get things done. You could wait until tomorrow and go into the manufactory with a plan set up. You could visit the Balar today. There's all sorts of options available to your characters. Hell, you could just throw it out the window and just flee somewhere else and try and get a job with one of the corporations. Like, if you guys think, oh crap, the Balar and the Drazni are going to have a fight, we don't want to be in the middle of this, and you just drop things and run.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go grab a bag of that mystery meat and head on to the Balar.
Okay, so Bomber's decided that he's going to head down into the market, and he's going to head down to the cheaper food stalls where he can get a bag of delightful and tasty mystery meat.
That shit's addicting.
Yeah, a little bit. Mystery meat. And and head on down to visit the Balar. So, what are the other guys up to?
I think Snarly Wolf will stay home for a brief moment. He's planning on getting that elevator job, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So I guess he'll spend a little bit of his time planning out what's gonna go on. What he's gonna try and do there.
I'm gonna plan how I'm gonna stand in an elevator. Sorry, I find that amusing. Nets is gonna spend the next hour and a half just trying to sleep off his previous night, and then make his way to the local market and go visit the electronics seller that had provided the data ripping tools for Servok, or 50, or Bomber. That's the name of the character.
Can you pick a name? Please pick any name.
Look who's talking. You're the one with all the names.
Okay, so Bomber heads off to the electronics shop to go and meet with the electronics seller. Snarly Wolf is making plans on how to get himself a job at the elevator. And Bomber is headed off to Balar. So let's deal with, let's deal with Snarly Wolf first. Like, what are you planning to do today to further your opportunities of becoming a elevator operator?
Well, 1, keep trying to learn to count. 2,
Okay.
Figure out how I'm gonna get that job. The job itself, at least. From what Snarly Wolf knows, you have to take the bag, weigh it, write it down somewhere, put it in the elevator, go up with the elevator, and that's it. But how is he gonna get that job? You may ask. Well, for one, he can ask the one of the upper dudes, one of the 4 people, or he can track down that other guy. Forgot his name, but he had the kids, and he's gonna quit the job.
Yep.
So I gotta think about that for actually a little bit.
So you're gonna have you've got a few things to think about, a few things to plan. In the meantime, you're studying your language and your numbers. Lovely.
What are the properties of ferrocite, other than it being very expensive?
And radioactive.
Ferrocite is a mildly radioactive material that accesses some sort of. It's a kind of magnetism, but talking about sort of either string theory or loop theory, there are elements of any force, gravity, magnetism, even solar radiation or light, things like that, that we don't interact with. They're outside of our reach. And this particular mixture of radioactive and magnetic alloys, which make up ferrocite, they access some of these magnetic elements that we don't normally access, which is what allows them to be, when they have an electric current pass through them as a coil, connect up to the magnetic lines that connect to different areas of different areas of the universe. So they allow you to do fast and light travel.
Okay, are they volatile or reactive to other things at all, or no? They're fairly inert.
They're reasonably stable at sort of base condition, like reasonably stable when they are in normal condition. If you were to powderize them and apply a decent amount of heat, then you'd start accessing a large amount of energy very rapidly. It wouldn't necessarily be bomb-like. It would be more like a implosive device. Basically, they'd access an awfully large amount of magnetic energy very rapidly, very similar to a large-scale magnetic ripper.
So they'd have to be powdered and then
Heated. So imagine it a little
No,
bit like
how hot though? Like I'm imagining something like a thermite sort of idea, but instead of it being heat, it sort of just pulls everything into it and everything gets squidged.
similar.
How
The
hot would it have to get?
400 or 500 degrees centigrade.
Would a motor at like halfway through the middle of a workday on a large machine get that hot?
No.
If you were to fuck with the coolant system,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
like if you were to fuck with the coolant
So-
system, you could easily get up to about 300 degrees centigrade. Like the metal would glow if you
Mhm.
would fuck with the coolant system on a large scale engine.
Yeah. What about? Are there any steam? Actually, no, this is. I'll talk. I'll take care of that in on my go around, I guess.
Okay. So ferrocite itself is a kind of not quite crystalline metal. It's a metal in that it can be melted and it can be formed. It's naturally got very sharp edges and a very sharp sort of aspect to it. It can be crushed, but it's quite resistant to crushing. It's kind of a greeny yellow metallic color, a bit like if you were to see chromed steel in a neon green light.
Okay. Hmm.
So it sounds like Bomber is planning to explode some ferrocite, or at least use ferrocite to do something dangerous. He has plans
So,
coming up.
He wants me to steal ferrocite then.
Nobody said that yet.
Nobody's saying anything quite yet.
Sounds like it is. Anyway.
And otherwise, like, it propels itself while magnetically attached to one of the, for lack of better term, spatial currents that flow through the solar system.
It allows you to link onto the spatial current. The spatial current provides the propulsion. To link onto the spatial current, it can't link on in its natural state. It has to be made into a coil and then energized. And it takes an awful lot of energy to basically force a magnetic field large enough to take a ship with it. Because essentially you have to create a magnetic field that encompasses the vessel you're taking with you. Otherwise, like, it's not going to hold its stability as it accelerates.
Do these spatial currents, like, do they exist everywhere and are just stronger in certain areas?
As far as they know, the spatial currents exist, or the extramagnetic force is accessible all over the place. The currents themselves are the lanes of much, much higher magnetic force that actually has a direction of travel. A lot of the magnetic currents in the universe, or the magnetic force in the universe, is just a dissipated area of magnetic force. It has no direction of movement, it has no direction of pull, it's just a force that exists. If you were to magnetize a ferrocite on a planet, it might float, it might pull down into the planet, it might go up into the sky slightly, depending on which direction the magnetic current in that area is pulling, but it would probably never accelerate above like 4 or 5 meters a second.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, like, ferrocite missiles would have become the mainstay for weaponry.
Well, other than how expensive they are.
Other than how expensive they are and how rare the mineral is, of course.
Because, yeah, I was just thinking, like, could I make, like, a high voltage ferrocite gun? Basically have a railgun that fires ferrocite shards.
Well, actually, again, pulling out of character, saying this is stuff your characters wouldn't know. Challenger Incorporated is currently experimenting with a shipborne ferrocite railgun. It does not fire ferrocite. It uses ferrocite to basically tap into the extramagnetic field and basically ramp up the power of the magnetic coils that fire projectiles from the railgun. A normal railgun accelerates things roughly sort of 5,000 to 6,000 feet per second. a ferrocite railgun. They're predicting, roughly 8,000 kilometers an hour, so roughly sort of 8,000 foot per second. They're looking at kind of like increasing that by a factor of 10.
So instead of destroying like a 500-meter area, it's going to destroy a 5-mile area.
Well, actually, the issue they have at the moment is if you fired it at another ship, it would essentially just pass straight through. It'd be traveling so fast that it wouldn't even deform as it went through.
So it's more for taking out planetary things.
Oh, it would do a huge amount of damage. I mean, heck, if you fired it at the front of a ship, it would pass through pretty much the entire length of the ship.
Yeah.
In fact, probably the entire length of the ship.
It
Fire
would
big enough.
sever through stuff, like even small projectiles. Like,
Yeah, so what you'd want to do is you'd want to have it on a destroyer, like on an actual like a massive ship, and use it to take over other planets. Is basically what you're saying.
You could use it as a planetary bombardment device.
That's exactly it.
Hey,
Get a
kidding
couple of
me?
those lined up.
What would be really cool with that? You use it as assassination device. You've got
You
some
could fire
high
long
level, like, people going through on their shuttle or whatever, and you could just take out your target while firing through their hull, and it just passes right through the guy. And nobody's the wiser, especially if any of the ships have any kind of reactive or like a self-healing hull to deal with micrometeorites.
Mm.
Like, there you go. It's like there's another pockmark in the hull, and all of a sudden your high-level dignitary is dead. Space sniper, sniping through spaceships. Space sniper.
So
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
next, you head to the electronic shop.
Mhm.
So what are we up to at the electronic shop, Mr. Nets?
Nets remembers reading multiple, like, since he's an engineer, he's kept up with tech and whatever. And reading papers on metamaterials and bending light, and is trying to find if there's anything that would either bend visible light spectrums or infrared spectrums. Basically trying to find himself almost a cloak of concealment, for lack of easier terms.
And you want an invisibility cloak.
Yes. Because science.
The owner of the electronic shop is aware of the particular materials you're talking about, the particular kind of scientific research you're talking about, which is there's basically 3 ways of going about it. One of which is using a kind of like entrapment. Basically, it's a bit like a fiber optic system where light hits a fiber from a fiber optics and it passes through the fiber optic without changing. And using that, you can actually bend light through by bending the fiber optic.
Yeah.
There's also the system of like picking up light or visible spectrums coming in from one direction and then projecting them out the other direction from a new device. So basically mimicry.
Yep, so active mimicry, yeah.
Active mimicry. And then you have a kind of sort of like passive mimicry, where essentially the person is basically colored in by a projection system that is mounted on the exterior of their shoulders or the exterior of their sort of hips, and then it projects back onto the person a kind of reverse image of the light spectrum that they are emitting to basically create a void
so
of light.
Cancels out their own reflections.
Mm.
That's an interesting thought I've never looked at before.
The issue with that one is that it actually cancels out light spectrums passing through that area, so you end up with basically a pitch black. It's great at night because essentially it just cancels out any light that hits you, but during the day you're quite kind of conspicuously just a black human shape. He says that
You're essentially wearing a black morph suit.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Which would be a far cheaper way of doing it. Just on a side note, he says to you that like he knows these things are being researched and like some of them may have been put into production, but you could try contacting Challenger Inc. or Saltec and like seeing how much they'd charge you for something like that. But the best he could do you was like a basically a thermoweave, which is an
Absorbs infrared. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an infrared negation suit, basically a thermoweave suit. And he could do it in some sort of interesting camouflage, but that's about the best he could do.
Okay. Do cameras run on a similar system that they run on our local time, or at our kind of present time right now, or is the sensors significantly different?
The sensors for most cameras, especially in the slums, would be running off a very similar sensor system, which is just a sort of light-absorbing diode system. There are a few that run off a kind of wavelength recognition plate, which is a little bit more advanced. But for the most part, you'd be looking at sort of light adjustment diodes, so that diodes that detect light coming in.
Okay. And how far along has image recognition gone for small computing devices?
Pretty decently, actually. Like, software is one of the things that is very, very sort of easy to distribute and pirate, and it doesn't require a huge amount of force behind it. So it's one of the few things that is easily accessible. Image recognition has gotten to the point where, in most cases, most sort of like personally owned electronics devices could run a reasonably efficient facial recognition software. Not like nowadays. Like, nowadays they're releasing computers that are locked with facial recognition. Bullshit. Complete lies. But that sort of thing is certainly possible.
What are you talking about, complete lies?
Complete lies. I'm sorry. It's like the thumbprint recognition computer that someone broke into using a piece of paper.
Yep.
Actually,
as soon as you go to 3D cameras, though, it works.
Yes. Something I did want to say to sort of like the group and to the viewers is that it was raised external to the campaign about the technology level between this campaign and the previous campaign being startlingly different. Like, the tech in this campaign feels a lot more rough and ready and a lot less advanced than it did in the previous short campaign, which was supposed to happen before this campaign. That's because this is the slums. They don't have the backing of a large corporation to provide them with the manufacturing and the technology and the blueprints and things like that. There is some technology of that advanced level knocking about in the slums, but primarily it's very old Challenger tech. It's 40, 50, 60 years old Challenger tech that was left behind when the slums were abandoned by Challenger. So it's a case of the fact that it's like in the modern world, if we were to go to a slum in an African town, then we wouldn't have access to Wi-Fi. In this sort of world, like in this slum, you don't have access to the advanced technologies because of where you are, unfortunately.
I mean, there are some African slums with Wi-Fi, though. Let's be honest.
Yes, there are now.
South Africa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean, you can't replay that card.
Oh, hush, boy. Bomber gets shot in the foot by a mugger.
takes 2 points of damage.
Oh man, that's great.
Do not piss off the DM. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so
the cell phones that are available, or communications devices, whatever they are, would they have the computing power to run a programmable image recognition system?
A reasonably accurate one. It wouldn't be 100% accurate, but they couldn't run one in real time. They could probably run an image every couple of seconds, though.
Every couple seconds. That seems like it's a step behind what we have now. Damn it.
Depends on how accurate you're asking for. Like, if you were asking for for instance, if you're asking for facial recognition with a 50% probability of being the same face as the face you want it to recognize.
No, what I'm looking for is, like, as a camera scans a room, it can pick out a banana.
Oh, yeah. It can do that in real time. That's no problem at all.
And you can program shapes into it so it could find different shaped bananas.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, through this database of 300 photos of bananas, I can recognize that, hey, there's a banana in the room as you're walking through it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's perfectly possible.
Okay, so where is my craft electronics and craft mechanical?
Why do I get a feeling when he levels up, he's going to put all his points into craft electronics?
It's for the best.
Well, don't put the thought in his head.
Okay,
And he gets a feat next level, so he could take skill specialization,
Yeah.
craft electronics, and get another 3 points.
so
Oh.
here is what I want to do. So using our fancy Balar cards, I want to
Right.
purchase a small computing device like a common day smartphone that I can get external attachments for. One of the external attachments I want is a 360-degree camera. And the smaller the better, doesn't have to be high resolution. And then the other thing I'm looking for is a servo control board. So like an Arduino or Raspberry Pi microcomputer or microcontroller. I am also the guy who says he can get me the infrared negating materials. Can that be put into what looks like normal clothing, or would it be like outlandishly odd looking, or?
You could line a suit with it. The suit would be a little bit thicker than it should be, but it'd be like having a heavy lining in a suit.
Okay. So yeah, I want to
You'd
get
bloody hot.
yeah, I want to get material like that, and I'll take that over to my tailor later to get a couple outfits made of it. Then the other thing I want is, so along with my servo control board or input-output controller, a couple reasonably heavy-duty, like, hobby servos, and a moderately powered violet laser.
Okay, so let me just get this right. On the Balar card, you are adding a smartphone,
Mhm.
a panoramic view camera,
Mhm.
a servo board,
Yep.
hobby servers, a violet laser, a ream of thermal negation material, and tailoring.
Yes.
Wow.
They
Okay.
want us to get crap done. I'm getting crap done.
Okay.
Plus, I figured like $30 for servo control board, $60 in servos, $200 laser, $600 computing device smartphone. Like, it's not an outlandish amount. The most expensive thing's probably going to be the material and then the tailoring.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
The thermal negation material is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Toad, I think you're gonna bankrupt the Balar before you get any.
I think he's gonna get all this ready, and then something's gonna go terribly wrong. He's
Okay,
gonna get caught
'cause
or something.
Here, so before we put this all through, Droid, I want to pass something by you, which I'll
Okay.
roll my skills for creating it.
Mm.
But with the software for image detection, what I'm looking at doing is on the computing device, loading up the software. It's going to use the 360-degree camera to look for the shape of commercial grade cameras. And I'm going to load through a few hundred pictures of cameras so it can detect a camera in the room.
Right.
Using the location it's seeing on the unwarped 360-degree camera, it will point a servo arm in that direction and activate the ultraviolet laser for a short burst of time, hoping to hit the lens of the camera so I can overload the cameras.
Okay, so you're looking at whiting out the light reception diodes.
Yes, except for I want like a shoulder-mounted predator gun to do it.
I love it.
Right, okay, so we are talking about loading software, that's fine. We're talking about setting up a server board, that's fine. We're talking about setting up hobby servers, that's not too difficult. We're talking about linking the hobby servers to the detection software and the violet laser, and also making it shoulder mounted.
Well, somehow mounted that it can be active while I'm walking around.
Okay.
Yeah. So whether it's like I mount it on top of a helmet and look like super geek, or whether it's shoulder mounted turret or whatever it is.
Right. Okay. Let's say for that we're going to go with the DC 12, because actually what you're trying to do is not
It's
particularly
not terribly
complicated.
difficult. It's just putting it together.
Yeah, and making it functional. Okay.
And is that mechanical or electronic?
That would be electronic because you're still wiring things into the servo boards.
And I got a 9.
Ooh,
Actually, you got a
fancy
6.
No, I got a
Plus
plus 3.
3.
Oh, right. You got a 9. Okay. So the other thing you can do is you can ask the electronics guy if he can put it together for you.
Fine. Bastard. I'm supposed to be an engineer, but I'm only a level 1 engineer.
So what's it like having no dignity?
Shut up.
Okay, so you now have a a kind of smartphone zappy thing. I don't really like. It's
A turret-mounted automated camera negation system.
So don't pay attention to the labeling on this, but basically it kind of looks a little bit like this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You've basically got an ultraviolet laser and
And
sort
a
of
bunch of
panoramic
like
camera and-
smartphones and camera and crap all like taped together.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's because the smartphone is sized to fit in someone's hand, because after several hundred years of making smartphones, they actually finally learned that people want to carry them in their hand and put them in their fucking pocket.
No one shall ever take my note from me.
It's sized to fit in your hand with everything else attached. It's roughly like half the size of a house brick.
Okay.
So
So kind of like a thick deodorant thing.
Yeah, like two deodorant things taped together, maybe.
There we go.
And it looks batshit crazy. The guy at
exciting.
the guy at the electronic shop does warn you that this is probably on the borderlines of what most organizations would say is against the rules of carrying.
Mhm.
Because you're essentially carrying a security system negation device. As for the thermal material, what would you like to do with the thermal material?
So I want to have it tailored into let's see. Where would be a good image for that?
In the meantime, Bomber, you've headed off to the Balar. So while he's
Yes,
looking for an image of his suit, you've headed off to the Balar. What are you doing at the Balar today?
I want to know if I can make a quick emergency visit with Anheg, if he's willing to see me and me alone.
Well, he is currently kind of in the building. He's waiting. The receptionist goes up and has a word with him, and a Balar enforcer comes down about 20 minutes later and says that Anheg has agreed to see you.
Yep.
So you head up, and Anheg is sitting in his office with 3 enforcers standing in the office. And Anheg normally wears a very, very well-tailored business suit. But today he's wearing what appears to be the same kind of plated armor as the Balar enforcer. So he's wearing the segmented anti-ballistics jacket. And
so he's a brick shithouse that's got a brick shithouse around him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And resting in the corner of the office, nearest to where Anheg is sitting, is what appears to be a sort of modern build rifle. Normally you're used to seeing slum rifles, which are 30, 40 years old. You're used to seeing basically the equivalent to the AK-47s. But he's got what looks to be a proper
Pulse rifle.
well, it's not a pulse rifle because energy rifles don't exist as much. Like there's some higher tech energy rifles that are held by some of the corporations, but they're
Not
very
quite
much
these guys.
experimental. Yeah,
Okay.
you're looking more at something like this sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a second tablet here for.
I am doing stuff.
Toad is doing things separately to us.
Yeah.
So Anheg sort of leans across the desk and is like, "Hello, Mr. Bomber."
Okay, shit, bit intimidated. This dude's huge and terrifying. I have a small, I guess, favor. You want this done faster, I want this done faster, so hopefully we can avoid all out war. I will need to know if you can get blueprints of their plant by today, as well as a small, roughly quarter, maybe quarter pound charge of C4 or Semtex equivalent. Nothing enough to destroy anything major, but enough to disrupt operations.
Anheg chuckles slightly at you, and his chuckle is a deep bass. I don't quite see why you're talking to me, Mr. Bomber. Things have become quite urgent, and urgency sometimes requires interesting tactics. You could have simply asked the receptionist. I will arrange for you to receive the documents directly to your phone.
It's like, why are you bothering me? I'm the big man. Just like,
I-
talk to the receptionist for your bombs. That's
All right,
awesome.
I got told. I just wanted to make sure that I had your full go ahead to get it done the way it's going to be done. As long as you're happy with the outcome, that's all that matters. Thank you very much.
Anheg turns and looks at the three enforcers in his room and looks at his rifle and he goes, "Indeed, things will be explosive quite soon. I will have one of our engineers meet you in the lobby with some devices."
Fantastic.
Ask him how long it'll be till things get explosive.
Yeah. How long until things? How long until the party starts?
We are currently monitoring the Drazni on several different communication groups. So far, they have not made any move to arm themselves.
Oh,
So we are waiting. The moment one of them picks up a rifle, we are going to go and start a party.
all right.
Snarbly Wolf.
Shit.
Snarbly Wolf, you are the person who's worked with the Blar the most. You're the person who's done jobs for the Blar in the past. You've
Yes.
probably received via your personal communications device. You've probably received several messages from the Blar. Basically, there are subtle messages going out. They're quite subtle, but like it's obvious to anyone who knows something is going on that something major is going on, because basically the Blar are offering employment opportunities for essentially the old hand heavies. They are hiring warehouse security officers. They're hiring extra enforcers because of breakdowns in social protection. They're hiring janitors. They're hiring waste disposal officers. Suddenly, they seem to have an awful lot of open hiring positions that are paid reasonably well.
Huh. I can finally read some of them now.
Yes, you actually understanding some of them. You're actually starting to understand some of them. You can certainly understand that. You can certainly understand job offers when you see them, because at least you might not understand what they're for, but you certainly understand what they are because of that's how you get you got a lot of your jobs with the Blar, was to see them post up something that basically looked like a job offer, and then you turned up and said, "What do you want done?" Bomber, you head down through the Blar Tower and you head back to the front. Your phone pings before you get out to the elevator, and it's a schematic of the factory and separate schematics of an awful lot of the machinery used at the factory.
Ooh, I could use
Fantastic.
As you get out into the lobby, there's a guy standing there looking around. He sees you get out of the elevator and he walks up, and he's probably about 5'2" tall. He's quite skinny. He looks absolutely insane. He has wide eyes, no eyebrows. He's got several burn marks on his face. He's got bits of hair missing, and he's wearing a lab coat with stains up, down, left, and right. And he's carrying a box roughly the size of a shoebox.
Oh, that's Scarabus causing Warbly Doof.
Yes, it's Wobbly Doo. And he walks up to Bomber and he goes, "Your Bomber."
Yes, I'd like to see your workshop.
Workshop? What do you mean workshop? You want bombs?
Where you make your magic, where you do all this. I want you to teach me what you know after. Not now. I'll pay you. Teach me your shit.
But you want to become apprentice crazy bomb maker?
I'm gonna learn me some shit. Is what I'm gonna do.
I have to talk to Anheg first, but yes, bombs. And he kind of sort of beckons you over to one of the tables in the lobby, and he opens the shoebox. And inside the shoebox is what you can assume is a collection of extremely dangerous devices that look like they've been made by a 5-year-old with Lego and gaffer tape.
Oh no!
Good job, Warbly Doof.
It's not Warbly Doof. You haven't asked his name yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna need this guy's. What's your name, buddy?
Gordon. Gordon.
You got a
Ask him
last
what
name?
his
there,
last
Gordon?
name is. Ask him what his last name is.
Yeah, got a last name, Gordon.
Freeman.
I knew it!
Yeah.
Oh man.
Is he a doctor? Ask him if he's a doctor.
So these are gonna explode.
He starts taking things out of the box and basically sort of like laying them out on the table, and he's got things ranging from grenades to sort of like incendiary devices, and actually this is a perfect image. This is a perfect image of sort of the sort of stuff that he's just pulling out of his box and laying on the table.
Oh my goodness.
And as he's laying them out on the table with their kind of gaffer tape and wires all over the place, he's like, this one has a timer. This one goes off with infrared. This one's heat sensitive. Yes. This one you push the button and run. Push the button and run. Definitely run. Don't stay there. Run. This one here. Heat sensitive one. Yes. Heat sensitive.
What heat does that need to get up to?
It depends. Like you use these, and he pulls like a handful of little vials out of his pocket and scatters them on the table. He goes like the green one, body temperature for the green one, the blue one you kind of go a little bit above room temperature. Like if you want to go to the red one's about 100 degrees, and the black one you never use the black one.
This guy sounds kind of like the Space Score, only with
Why don't I use the black one? What's the black one?
The black one makes it explode, but it makes it explode when it gets too cold, and if it explodes when it gets too cold, then it's a much bigger explosion. You never use black one. The black one is bad.
We want the black one.
I'll take them all. I'll take them all.
Whoa! Be careful. Be careful with that.
All of the vials or all of the explosives?
I'll take all of the vials, the heat-sensitive explosive, the timer, and the remote detonator, as well as a grenade.
Okay, so you basically start picking bits and pieces out of it, and the guy, as you're picking bits and pieces out of it, is just chattering away about the bits and pieces you pick up. You pick up the grenade, and he says, it's great, and it's my grenade. I made it better. They normally use an explosion, and explosion throws shrapnel. Shrapnel is bad. But you see, this thing throws shrapnel, but it also throws poison shrapnel, because it's got a little poison vial inside, and it breaks when it explodes. It's a different kind of grenade.
Poison shrapnel.
Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, he's insane.
What's it called? The snake bite?
Yes.
It's just a vial of snake venom in the middle of it that covers all the shrapnel.
Is there anything anything with magnetic backing to it that he has in there?
Yes, you could get a magnetic backing It's probably the motion-sensitive devices that have magnetic backings.
I'd like to grab the I'd like to grab one of the motion sensitive mines and a block of the C4.
Just take the box
So-
of stuff. You were picking through
Right,
it.
yeah,
Just,
I'll just take the entire box. I'm gonna take the box.
just
I'm
like
just gonna take the box.
you brought me it all in a nice box. Grab it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the box and I'm gonna shake the guy's hand. Like it's a firm handshake. This is a great thing he's done for me. This is like I'm like a kid in Christmas, man. This is fantastic.
Well, they do call you
Oh,
Bomber for
wow.
a reason.
I now have a box of explosives. I'm gonna take back to my house.
Oh no.
Okay, so in the box of explosives, you have 3 different grenades.
Okay, let me write this shit.
You have 3 different grenades. You have 2 things that look like mines. You've got 1 timed explosive. You've got 1 thermal explosive. You've got 1 sound sensitive explosive, and you've got 1 remote explosive.
1 time, 1 motion. One remote. And what are these words? So
So you've got a timed, a motion, a thermal, a remote, and a sound sensitive.
How smart is the
Exploding.
sound one? Like, is it just like a decibel level, or is it like you can do it above and below certain frequencies, or what is it?
You guys don't know. He didn't ask. He just took the box and fucked off.
yeah, I'm excited. I got box. So yeah, I'm gonna head back to.
I don't know how any of
I'm
these
a-
work. I'm gonna blow stuff up. Yay!
Yeah. By the way, like
Oh.
literally, you asked Anheg for explosives. Anheg didn't want to deal with your shit, so he phoned down or he had someone contact reception and ask for explosives. They contacted the weapons research lab, and that guy just came up from the weapons research lab with just a box of stuff because he didn't know what he wanted. Just like, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna head back to my house with my box of explosives, and I'm gonna pick up another bag of mystery meat because I already ate the other bag on the way there.
Oh man. You have like
Dude.
a craving for mystery meat every
It's-
day. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
it's delicious. Well, one day it's gonna be like, I don't know, made from puppies. You're gonna find out that it was made from puppies or something.
Hey, if puppies taste like chocolate, I don't give a shit. I'm eating puppies.
Okay,
That's
so
disgusting.
now that we've dealt with that, we'll just finish off Toad's suit, and then we'll end the episode there, I think.
Okay, so if anybody's watched the show Continuum, very good sci-fi made in Canada. Here's the main character's suit. Is the female. It is a smart suit that goes to different body sizes. So here would be what it is tailored on a male. So that sort of suit where your hands can be pulled inside the ends of the sleeves. And then what I'd
Okay.
also like is incorporated into the collar. It would have to be a little bit thicker, but basically like those fold-away windbreaker collars, so I can have a hood.
Okay, yep, that can be tailored. That can be tailored.
And
It's
I'd
going
like
to be a
2 of them.
pretty bulky undergarment, but
Mhm.
that can be tailored.
Who says they're an undergarment? That looks awesome.
Okay.
It's like, I'm the Shanna Man. Do. Zoot suit. Oh yeah.
So-
man.
We end the day with Vagabond having practiced his ABCs and his numbers and looked at some job opportunities and thought about what he's going to be planning to do to get the elevator job. Bomber has headed to Anheg. Anheg was arming himself for bear, so to speak. And Bomber asked for bombs,
And he got
Okay.
bombs.
and he got bombs. He got probably more bombs than Anheg was expecting him to take, but still. And Toad has gone to the electronics district. He's made himself a Predator gun anti-surveillance camera device and bought a ream of extremely expensive thermal negation fabric and had it tailored into essentially a jumpsuit with a hood. Yeah, this has been an interesting episode of preparations, and this has used up most of your day.
Okay. Do I still have time to meet Amanda's handler Amnesia again?
Yes, you
said
will
I'd
have
be
time
back?
to do
Okay.
that today.
Yeah, that'll be
No, I'd
next
back
episode.
after
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, thanks everybody again for watching, and we'll be back for the next episode. Bye for now.